Hey there, friends. What I'm about to tell you is probably going to make some of you mad if you don't watch the whole video. If you just watch this part right here, you're likely to leave and never come back. So I implore you, watch the whole video. Heard a lot of talk about Brandon Herrera being nominated, or at least spoken of in terms of a conversation, of being director of the ATF. I'm firmly against that. I do not think Brandon Herrera should be director of any ATF. First, guys, go check out my friends Attorneys on Retainer. These guys are not an insurance company as far as carry insurance for your firearm. These are legitimate attorneys who are just what they say. They're on retainer. These guys are ready to answer your call. When you do call, there is an on-call attorney who will take your call. So in the event you have to use your firearm, you are not dancing around with some $12 an hour phone clerk who doesn't know anything about law and doesn't know what it takes to protect you. You will be met with an attorney on the other line. Sign up now with my friends Attorneys on Retainer for optimum protection, and in the unlikely event you have to draw your carry firearm in self-defense, use my code FTATF and receive $50 off your individual sign-up fee. That's Attorneys on Retainer. But back to the topic at hand. If you guys hung around to see why you're so mad at me not wanting Brandon Herrera to be ATF director, I will tell you why right now. There shouldn't be an ATF. Let's abolish the damn thing. So if there's no ATF, there's no ATF director, so there's no reason to nominate Brandon Herrera to be a director of it, because I don't want the dang place to exist anyway. Guys, and more on Brandon Herrera later. Let's look at where we're at. For the first time in recent history, at least in my lifetime, there's actually a conversation about no ATF, abolishing the ATF, and there's actually someone nominated to head up the Department of Justice who feels the exact same way.
The ATF's new rule criminalizing pistol braces is a brazen and unlawful attempt to usurp congressional authority. This pistol brace rule will fail for the same reason the bump stock rule failed. The ATF does not have the authority to create federal law. Nobody voted for the ATF, though I know a lot of people who would vote against them if they could. This new rule will ban pistol braces on certain firearms, forcing users to jump through numerous hoops to comply with this new decree or risk becoming a felon. Disabled veterans and others have used these braces for years to help them fire pistols, and the ATF has unilaterally decided that this is no longer acceptable. Now, otherwise law-abiding Americans will either have to destroy their newly illegal firearms or figure out how to comply with an arbitrary and confusing regulatory scheme outlined in the National Firearms Act. The ATF cannot be trusted to protect our rights to keep and bear arms. There is no timeline in which the ATF, under any administration, would become an ally. It needs to go. We need to abolish the ATF before they abolish our Second Amendment rights. Alcohol, tobacco, and firearms should be the name of a chain of convenience stores in Florida, not a federal agency.
So friends, I don't think we can squander this opportunity by saying, oh, let's put somebody in place of the ATF, because what happens is, even if we put our guy in there, whether it's Brandon Herrera or one of the other great people out there that I think would be, I mean, we really don't need to single it down to one person. There's Tim with Military Arms Channel. I think Jared with Guns and Gadgets would be good. Oh gosh, there were some other guys that I thought would make good candidates that are in our own groups. So I don't think we narrow it down to one person. I think we look at, look, let's be honest, who the best person is for that. Now me, no, I don't want to do it. I'm not throwing my hat into the ring at all. I don't want to be a part of the swamp. I don't want to spend a moment of time more than what I have to in Washington, D.C. Now, would I be willing to be a consultant to that director? 100%. I would actually beg for that role and do it for free, to be a consultant that actually had some quality input into that person and any issues that came up. But let's look at it this way. Let's don't get so excited about putting someone who's on our side in there, because let's face it, just like we're about to bounce Dettleback's anti-gun ass out of there, the next time there's a Democrat president, they're just going to do the same thing. They're just going to put their guy back in there again. So the only hope we have, at least for the next 4 years, is to disassemble the ATF rather than putting somebody in there. Look, let's be real honest, and I've said this before. The Democrats and the anti-gun movement, they are very patient people. You don't think they're willing to sit back for 4 years, 8 years, 12 years, and patiently wait with their anti-gun bills all ready to roll, tweaking the language a little bit every so often. But having that anti-gun bill sitting back there going, not yet. Not yet. Not yet. We don't have our guy in there yet. And then boom, they get their guy in there. I think our fight right now should be, since there is a conversation on it, trying to throw our support behind a guy like Matt Gaetz, who is willing to look at disassembling and doing away with the ATF. We've said it before, Donald Trump is not a Second Amendment guy. He does not understand the gun culture very well. If he has enough confidence in Gaetz to be his attorney general, then he probably has enough confidence in Gaetz to listen to him if Gaetz does suggest disbanding the ATF altogether, which might also mean disbanding some of these other things out there, getting suppressors off of the NFA, short barrel rifles, all these things like that. We could start to do some quality undoing of all these unconstitutional laws. But if we play their game and simply put our guy in there, regardless of who it is, then we're just doing that. We're playing their game. They're just going to patiently wait us out and put their own guy back in there and undo everything that we've done. But if there's no ATF to put their guy into, then they have to restart all of that. And that's not going to be something you do by changing a nameplate on a door. If we can undo all the damage the ATF has done by getting rid of it and defunding those people, there's a very good chance that we get way more done down the road, and these people can be as patient as they want to. They have a lot of work ahead of them to rebuild an entire organization. And let's not forget also Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk, that DOGE, Department of Governmental Efficiency. These guys are serious about that. You don't think that we can make a really good argument for disbanding the ATF? I've already sent letters to Elon and Vivek as it stands, telling them not only how it is a wasteful organization, and I spell out how they piss away all these millions and millions of dollars, how there's a bunch of overreach, how it's a useless department, how it harasses and bullies gun owners and honest law-abiding Americans while completely ignoring the fact that you have inner city gangs shooting at each other every single day. I have spelled all of this out and sent this to Elon, Vivek, and different people in Trump's cabinet. Now, will they listen? I don't know. They might be deleting my email every time I send it, but I'm sending it because I think between Gaetz already suggesting disbanding the ATF, these guys looking at waste, this is a government bureaucracy fraught with waste. I mean, think about it. What do? No, don't hit me with this public safety. Don't hit me with the same talking points that Dettelback and all his little ATF agents and their boyfriends, wives, husbands, and all that kind of crap. Don't hit me with that. I don't want you to repeat the same thing. What do they really do? Don't tell me public safety, enhanced public safety, or whatever. That's not the case. You can't measure that, and there's no proof that they've ever done anything other than run guns to Mexico with Eric Holder, right? The ATF has done more damage, not only criminally, but also to honest law-abiding Americans, and they have worked tirelessly to put good people, honest Americans who are simply trying to make a living with FFLs, to try and enhance whatever crossing T's and dotting I's that somebody might have gotten wrong, to enhance those things and make them look like big violations and have this no-tolerance policy where they can immediately put you out of business. That right there, I think there are enough boxes that we could check to get this on Elon's desk or Vivek's desk and say, you really need to strongly consider getting rid of this organization altogether. I got to repeat again, what do? Heck, even on the anti-gun side, other than trying to harass us, have they enhanced any kind of safety? Does anybody feel safer because the ATF exists today? I mean, think about it. I know we try to generalize a lot of time, or we try not to, I guess, but we do generalize a lot and say, oh, they're worthless. I don't know that I'm exaggerating when I say the ATF is worthless. I'm literally sitting here trying to think of something that they do. What I'm saying is, the worst thing we could do is say that we're okay with the ATF as it exists today and fight for our guy to get put in there. Because again, this is not a knock against Brandon Herrera. I don't know Brandon personally, but it's certainly not a knock against him. I don't know what his qualifications are or anything like that. So this is not knocking him. But I think by us getting giddy about putting Brandon Herrera in there as ATF director, yeah, sounds cool. It's probably a pretty cool t-shirt and a bumper sticker. But is it the right thing to do because we're agreeing that the ATF needs to exist? So let's just put our guy in there. Again, I think the real strength here is getting rid of it altogether and encouraging and getting behind and supporting guys like Brandon Herrera when they run for public office, and get them in there, let them make a difference at the congressional level. Because one thing we're not getting rid of, unfortunately, is Congress. There is a chance, even though although slight and a very slim chance, there is that chance of getting rid of a bureaucracy. But Congress will always be there. So a guy like Brandon would be very useful in Congress, speaking from the inside of the swamp on our behalf.
I don't understand the point that you're making.
God save the Queen, man.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America.
He's so horrible.